that the highest number of millionaires who are migrating in the world are migrating to Dubai. These are people of choice. It's not need. They are choosing Dubai.
Today I have with us one of the most recognised faces within the Dubai real estate market, Dr. Anand. Anand has a lot of credentials within the market, but rather than taking any of his limelight, I think it'd be nice for you to just to start with an introduction about who you are, what you're doing, and how you got to where you are today.
All right, let's keep it to real estate because there's been a few other career journeys before that. So from 2006 in real estate, working with all the top 20 developers, about top 60 brokerage companies here, as well as working with some of the countries in the GCC. Today, I actually contribute because I see myself as one of the ambassadors. We have some really good ones in Dubai. One of the ambassadors for real estate and for the brand Dubai. So I love to help investors. I like to help the brokers in the market, developers, everybody enhance the quality of the real estate experience. In short, that's what I do.
Okay, excellent. And on the topic of Dubai then, of course, there's been a lot of hype around the market. What do you think it is about Dubai which has generated this interest globally?
Well, let's understand that the attractiveness, particularly real estate, did put a lot of hype on Dubai as well, and vice versa. That's because as a city, we are driven by visionary leadership. And proof of that is if you had to get onto the internet today, pick any city in the world. Google and see if they have put their economic agendas out there for the next 10 years. There's only one city that has put agendas for the next 10 years, the Dubai Economic Agenda, D33. There is the 2040 Urban Master Plan, and then there is the Dubai 2071 Centennial Plan. So we are living in a city that has got a clear vision into the next 50 years of the future. And everything that we're doing has got one singular goal behind it, to become the number one city in the world. And you will actually, if you're following news closely on Dubai, especially in the last few years, you'll see every major announcement is backed by this one statement. In line with the Economic Agenda 2033, Dubai now unveils. So we are looking at making our city the best in the world. So we've created a lot of attractive, let's say, incentives for people to want to leave their countries and come into Dubai. And I'm sure we'll cover a lot of that later in the podcast. But in 24 years, no city on the planet, not even Singapore, which is one of the best cities in the world, actually achieved the kind of recognition Dubai got. It took Singapore 59 years to do it. It took us technically about 24 years to reach where we are today. Talk to anybody on the planet today, they will tell you they know Dubai. Ask them, can you name 3 or 4 of the most famous cities in the world today, popular cities in the world? Dubai will be one of them. And that's another reason why we are drawing so much of attention that the highest number of millionaires who are migrating in the world are migrating to Dubai. These are people of choice. It's not need. So they could walk into any city, anywhere in the world on a residency-related program, but they are choosing Dubai, not just for themselves, for their families, as well as their businesses. I mean, these are the people who are telling the world, you should be in Dubai.
Okay.
Particularly since I know you work a lot with the UK, let's look at UK alone. This year alone, UK is losing 9,500 millionaires. Most of them are coming to the UAE, and 90% of them are choosing Dubai.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a combination of factors, definitely from a tax perspective, security, safety, but also the vision that Dubai has. In terms of Dubai, I mean, what would you say the main factors are that you should consider before making an investment?
Okay. Firstly, if you're a first-time investor in particular, then it is very, very important to understand our economic agendas going forward. You cannot isolate real estate as an investment from the performance of the city, because it is the attractiveness of the city that will actually make your investment more attractive. So the first thing, study the economy of the city, the current performance, benchmark it against the annual GDPs of some of the best cities in the world, and you see we are up there among the top 5. So that's an indicator. It's not just a growing economy, checks the stability of the economy. We are the second most stable economy in the world, number 1 being Switzerland. This is the US World and News reports. So the stability of the economy is a strong indicator that we have a very secure business environment. And this is also the reason why you have all these millionaires relocating here. And since we're talking about this, I will just add a few things about why Dubai and then go back to why the person should look at. In fact, all these will help him understand why he should invest here. Like you said, one of the most friendly taxation structures in the world.
Yeah.
Safety, we are among the top 3 on the planet. We have strong security records. We've got transparency in business. We have the most friendly startup environments for business. We were the first city in the world to set up a digital assets oasis. I should not say first city, first country, because it's in Ras Al Khaimah. But we are looking towards the future. We are number 3 on the planet right now as a global power city. So we are giving people all the reasons to come. Number 2 on hospitality, number 2 in retail. We are also actually giving the golden visas now in multiple categories, which is making it even more attractive for people to come in here. We have a 70% projection on the growth of our population in the next 10 years. That's an average of 250,000 new residents every year. I don't think any city on the planet has that kind of a growth track record. We're doubling our economies in the next 10 years. We're doubling foreign direct investments to $650 billion. We're adding 400 new cities into our trade map in the next 10 years. That's approximately 4 cities every single week, every single month. That's 1 city a week. Show me which city has this kind of vision and is signing these kind of agreements. 3 new logistics corridors, Latin America. We're opening Southeast Asia. We're opening into Africa, which is the emerging economic giant of the future. So the vision that we have, the strategies and the actual action steps we have put in place is making the world come to Dubai. They are taking notice. So now, if you are looking to invest in Dubai, the first thing is understand the future of the city. Because real estate is about the future. It's not about the past. It's infrastructure. You cannot double your economies without having a demand for growth in real estate, whether it is residential, commercial, it could be hotels, malls, entertainment, retail. All of these are part of a doubling of an economy. So we know that there is a strong future there. The other thing you need to keep in mind is there's a lot of noise out there. When you are one of the best cities in the world, when you're highly visible, there's a lot of noise out there. How do you filter through all of that information? Because the internet today, while it's a blessing, is a bane as well. There's so much information. Many people look at something there without verifying actual sources, and then they jump into it. A bit of the monkey see, monkey do, herd mentality. That's not the way you should buy. Just because people are throwing the money into Dubai, you don't throw your money in. You need to understand the reasons why those people are doing it. We've had 166,000 millionaires who invested 634 billion last year. We're going to exceed 200,000 millionaires this year, doing are close to 700 billion this year. But it's not how much is being done, it's why they're doing it. So they need to understand what are the reasons catalyzing this kind of growth. So if they're coming in particularly for off-plan as investment options, then the legacy of the developer is very, very important. Okay. When you look at legacy, how long have they been in the market? What is the track record in terms of delivery? Do they actually deliver what they have promised? Brochures will sell you the world. So don't go just by brochures, go by legacy. And if their previous projects have got that good track record, then you can believe the brochures on the future ones.
Sure.
Look at the performance in terms of the actual returns that is being given. Also look at the area and the location. Location is more than just being in a strategic place. A very, very good location could be currently good or it could be futuristic good. So if I'm coming in with the idea of being in an investment for 3 years, 4 years, and then exit at an attractive return, if the community is promising great lifestyles and amenities in the future, but that's, I would say, 10 years, 12 years in the future, like, for example, Dubai South with the new airport, then I might enter and be disappointed. It's not that it's a bad investment. It's an excellent opportunity, but that's more for the long-term investor. So look at your entry strategy, the exit strategy, and what would be the attractiveness of those communities at the point of exit, equally important. Many investors make this mistake of looking at my entry point, the pricing, what kind of payment plan, current capital appreciations in the market, I'm going to make great money. But you're not going to make that until you sell it. So if the community is not ready for the next or attractive for the next buyer, you're stuck. You're not making that appreciation. So it's really important to look at that also, how you would exit in the future. Look at community management services, very, very important. Sadly, I don't find many salespeople talking about this because I may be an investor now, but the person I'm selling to is interested in knowing that he's living with his family in a community where they would be taken care of. That's one thing. How easy it is to get financing options if you are an expat, or if you actually have a business and a license in Dubai, or if you're just someone investing from outside the city. So I think these are some things that they need to keep in mind. Then the person that you're working with, don't just, we know salespeople.
Sure.
Right? Salespeople will promise a lot. You need to check. This is the responsibility. I clearly put this on the investor. Okay, I'm a sales guy. I'm going to tell you I'm the best in town. You have to do your due diligence. You have to be able to understand that the person you're talking to knows the market, understands global trends, understands the vision of the city, can explain why actually this developer is the most attractive option for you when there are so many attractive developers and communities. So there's a lot that you have to look at. So choose the right kind of agencies, the right kind of brokers, and then the right developer, and even within the developer, the right kind of opportunity. Because not everything works for you depending on what your specific need is.
Excellent. I mean, look, Anand, I think it's fair to say that the market has seen quite a lot of growth, and we're seeing a lot of different launches taking place now. Realistically, how much further do you think the market can actually grow?
10 years?
What makes you say that?
Firstly, we know that the population is increasing by 70% in the next 10 years. So I have 250,000 new residents coming into our city every year. The average family size in Dubai, I'm talking the end users, the homeowners. The average family size is 5.3. You'll get this information if anyone wants to research it from the CEIC, the Census and Economic Information Center. So even if you have an average family of 5, I need 50,000 homes every year in Dubai. We're handing over on an average between 20 to 28,000 homes. We short 30,000 homes in Dubai every year for the next 10 years. You're talking 300,000 homes short in the next 10 years. That's just by increase of population. The diversification and the new types of industries coming into Dubai is putting pressure on us. We have an airport that's being built that will handle 260 million passengers a year. 260 million a year. There's no city that has an airport that is coming close to half of what we're going to be handling. We are doubling our economies. We are opening 3 new trade corridors. 400 cities are entering into the game with us. How is it possible that there is going to be no requirement or demand for these homes? We have a launch every 18 hours in Dubai. What people do not understand is when there are so many handovers happening, because we had crazy launches for the last 3.5 years. So with so much of inventory in the market, how come developers are still launching? Because in traditional property cycles, there is a phase when developers are heavy in the action. They cool off when handovers are happening. Then the secondary home markets become heavy. And then once the absorption takes place, you find the developers coming in again. We are in a unique situation because of our economic agendas. We are the first city that has created a new property cycle. So while we have people ready to pick up homes, we know we are already short. So I cannot wait for absorption of homes to happen and then launch, because in which case, by the time we go to 27, 28, we have nothing in the market for anybody, and we don't want people sleeping on our streets. So all the launches that we see today that people might not be able to relate to is so that from 29 till 33, we have ready inventory coming into the market to be able to handle the stress we will have from people wanting to come and have an amazing life in Dubai. What you are seeing as handovers now is what we prepped the market from through the last 3 to 4 years. So it's going to continue because our agenda is very, very aggressive. So 10 years, you can come in as quickly as you want. There's no way the market's going to slow down, but for sure you are going to be paying more in the future. That is guaranteed.
And where do you think the ceiling is for Dubai? So obviously we're expecting for the next 10 years, we're going to see price increases. How would you compare that to other global cities in terms of a price per square foot perspective?
Okay, price per square foot perspective, we are easily killing the best cities in the world. Now, in defense of the best cities in the world, many of them are hundreds of years old. Look at London, Paris, New York. They've been around for a long amount of time, so they don't even have space anymore. So pricing is fueled by 2 things. One, by demand for moving into the cities, because you can get a world-class lifestyle. The business infrastructures are excellent. Politically, financially, these countries carry weight. point, they're influential in terms of decision making globally. So people want to be part of these kind of environments. So that puts pressure on the price. But when your cities are bursting at the seams and you don't have more space, that further puts pressure on the prices. Therefore, price goes up not just because of demand, goes up because of lack of space to build and expand. Now, that is the problem major cities, if you look at Singapore, Singapore's falling off the edges of the island. We don't have that problem here in Dubai. Why? Dubai is 4,114 square kilometers. Barely 20% of that has been developed in the last 50 years. So we have a long way to go in terms of space. So the pressure on us is not space. The pressure on us is the speed at which people are coming in, buying into the Dubai economic agendas. Therefore, we have to play catch up with the infrastructure. So if you look at some of the major cities, Monaco, for example, you'll get 16 square meters if you put $1 million today.
Yeah.
You would get something like 36, between 25 to 36 square meters if you take places like Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore. London is around 30 square meters. Mumbai is around 36. Dubai is 91 square meters.
Wow.
Literally 3 times what you'd get in some of these cities and 5 times what you'd get in a few of the others. So we are very, very attractive at price at this point. Everyone is looking at Dubai and saying, but prices have gone up a lot. Of course, it's going to go up. Demand always pushes price. If price is going up, ask yourself a very simple question. If you're an investor, what drives price to go up? Demand and the leadership position you have in the world. We have both today. So if you want to live in the best city in the world, you would come here, but there is a bit of a price to pay. But don't forget the percentage of increases in the appreciations, the friendly tax. We have no taxes on real estate at all.
Yeah.
So once you take all of that out, you make an absolute killing in the Dubai market. This is the reason why you have so many millionaires who are investing every single year. This is our 4th record year. Post-COVID, no city on the planet, I'm saying it again, post-COVID, no city on the planet has had a record-breaking year in real estate, but Dubai has broken it every year for the last 4 years.
Interesting. I think you've mentioned quite a lot about the space and the demand. We've got people coming in. We've got so many new residents, 80% increase by 2033, aligned with the agenda. Do you not feel Dubai is slightly overcrowded at the moment?
Great question. I get this a lot. You're right. There is a lot of crowd in Dubai, and Dubai has a strategy to handle this. But let me just put that in perspective. Sometimes people have this unrealistic expectation around Dubai that Dubai needs to operate different from the rest of the world. How much crowd do you have in London when you go downtown? How much do you get in Tokyo? How much do you get in Hong Kong? In Mumbai? How much do you get in New York? If you look at all the top metros in the world, take the top 50 cities, take the top 100 cities in the world who have got any sort of global significance, they're all crowded. So if it's okay for all of them to be crowded, why does Dubai have to be different? But we also need to understand why this crowd is happening. It's not happening because we have shortage of space. It's happening because our economic agendas, the vision of the government, our I would say, acceptance of all cultures, how we encourage people to come to the world, that is making people choose. They can choose London today. They can still choose Singapore. They can choose Mumbai. But they're choosing Dubai. So what's happening now is because of how Dubai has positioned itself and built its brand globally, when I have a choice of 400 cities today, I'm picking Dubai. So it has funneled and brought in a whole lot more people year on year compared to any other city, which puts pressure on the system, which is the reason why part of the strategy for 2033, 2040, leading up to 2071 is to build micro cities. The 20-minute smart cities. That's why any mega community that is being launched now, and anybody can Google and see this is a fact, all of them are self-contained communities. All these malls, once you get into all these communities, once you get into it, you don't even need to leave it. They have schools, they've got hospitals, they've got pet-friendly areas, they've got parks, they've got jogging trails, they have beaches. We build beaches in the deserts today. They've got parks, greenery, they've got shopping malls, they have office communities in there. So you have everything that you require for your daily lifestyle. So what we are now doing is, because we have the space, we are able to build micro cities and populate all of them. Not everybody plans on a daily basis to come downtown to see a tower.
Sure.
So we're building that lifestyle because we do have that luxury of space, and we are learning from the lessons of the other cities. So that's why we're spreading people out. One example, Dubai South. In the next 3 years, 500,000 people will be living in Dubai South. That is going to be 13% of the population of Dubai in just that one area. So we are planning and building so that we can spread out, while at the same time we're reclaiming in the oceans. So we're actually getting more land being added into our map. So this is how we will be handling it. But yes, traffic is a good sign for us. I've been asked this question once before, and my answer was very simple. What do you prefer? A city that's got traffic on its roads or a city that has its roads empty? The answer is obvious. Because a city with empty roads means nothing's happening. Nobody wants to go there. And we love the energy on our roads. But we are doing as much as we can, as quickly as we can, so that we can ease some of those pressures. That's a happy problem to have.
Very interesting. So let's say, for example, I'm investing based out of the UK. I'm really interested in the Dubai real estate market. How can I be certain that my money is going to be protected? Is there any regulations in place to make sure it's a safe investment?
Well, yeah, there are. In 2006 was when the property law was created for the first time. After that, RERA got set up on the 31st of July 2007, which is the Real Estate Regulatory Agency. It's not authority, it's agency, because they represent multiple government authorities and ministries connected with the development of real estate infrastructure. So the RERA is in place to be able to monitor what's happening in real estate. Any developer who wants to launch a project today goes through multiple criteria. They're as good as any city on the planet. You cannot just walk in today and register for a development. So we check the legacy of the developer. We check if they've been black pointed in the past for defaulting or extreme delays and things like that. Are there a quality and brand perception of the lifestyles in those communities? All of that is looked at, and then we categorize developers in tier A, tier B, and tier C. So these people are allowed in certain areas to develop. You would never get a tier C allowed to come into one of the premium areas in Dubai, because that hurts the brand Dubai. Then we have the escrow accounts, which have been put in place, which again, the criteria extremely stringent to get an actual escrow account. So now your payments are being done directly into the escrow account, so that the money is held by a bank monitored through RERA, the Dubai Real Estate Courts, and the central bank. So this does not allow a developer to take money out until certain percentages of construction are completed. The other benefit of it is escrow is given project by project. So as a developer, I could have multiple projects. If I had a single escrow account, I could float money sideways into ailing projects to get them on track and then hurt some of the more attractive ones. You can't do that anymore, because every escrow is locked into that specific project. All marketing activities, promotions, all payouts to contractors, subcontractors must be done from that escrow only onto that particular project. So that's how the investors are being protected in Dubai. If you as an investor are with a developer and the developer is still directly taking money into their accounts, you have the freedom to contact RERA, and RERA will get into the action for you straight away.
Interesting. Now, one of my concerns about investing in real estate in Dubai is because I actually feel like I can make more money within the financial markets. It can provide me a better return. It provides me more liquidity. Why should I invest in Dubai real estate over any other asset class?
I would answer that with another question. We had 166,000 millionaires and billionaires last year who invested. We are already at 150,000 millionaires, and we still have 3.5 months left to go this year. All of these are investors who look at multiple streams of income. They have considered different venues through which they can make the money, which would include a lot of financial assets, giving them immediate liquidity, digital assets and currencies. They've looked at warehouses, stock markets, all of that. And they are also in real estate. You would not find one millionaire on the planet who is not investing in real estate along with the others. So what we have never advocated that real estate is the only investment that you should get into. What has been advocated is real estate is one of the most secure ones that you can get into, because even with the ups and downs, they do bounce back. Many of the financial assets, one wipes out billions and billions of dollars, but real estate will always bounce back. So it is a very strong asset class, but it is not the only asset class. house. And the proof of this is the fact that every single millionaire, show me one millionaire on the planet who has not invested in real estate. Are they living in their own house or are they renting? So people will invest in multiple industries. Now, what is important is certain stock will give you higher returns. So not every stock is attractive as well. You find the best ones. Similarly, certain cities for real estate are very attractive. Not every city. For example, our taxation structures make us one of the most attractive on the planet straight away. So the question is not should I invest in real estate? The question is where should I invest in real estate so I can optimize my returns because of the future potential of the city, the taxation structures, the ease of owning the asset, the demands at resale point, and how easy it is for me to do the transfers and get it. So there's a lot of these things that have to be looked at. Dubai looked at it as a full package, not just offering you the opportunity, making it easy to come in, setting up our own monitoring structures and courts, and helping you do it all with the least amount of pain, with the least amount of bureaucracy, and actually everything being online right now. Transactions are done in minutes in Dubai. So there's a lot to look at, not just the return.
Okay, so playing the other side of the coins, let's say I'm really interested in buying real estate. I know what project I want. What's stopping me going directly to the developer rather than working with an agent?
Okay, so again, very valid question, but easy to answer. The first thing is some investors have this idea in their head that they may have to pay the brokerage company or the broker something. Not true. Not if you are an investor coming in and buying from a developer. If you're in the secondary market, you do pay for the services that they give you, but not with the real estate, not with the developers. Now, I could go directly to a developer. Let's say developer X. Now, what do you think the salespeople at developer X would tell you? That they're the best? That their communities are the best, high performing, they've never had delays, or if there's been any issues, they will push it under the carpet because that's the only product they have to sell. So the access you have is to the intelligence of that particular developer. You will notice another pattern with many of them. They will tend to downplay the others, even if they are good, so mine looks good. Wrong way to sell. Now, when you work with a broker, a recognized broker, reputed agency, good legacy of their own performance, you now have access to the wisdom of the market as well as to the opportunities of the market because you're not paying me. So I know, let's say you go to developer X and they are genuinely good and that is an amazing community. As a broker, I would tell you this is really nice, but hold on a second. Have you also thought about developer Y? They give you something equally good plus 1, 2, and 3. So that advice I would never give you if I'm developer X. I would tell you mine is the best. So what happens is you hone into that one and then you are limited and later you discover that there were others that were equally good in the market. So you get that advice. So either as a broker, I can confirm that's a good one to you, or I can tell you, you need to be careful about this one because of 1, 2, and 3. So you get the advice of the market and what's good for you, it's paid for by the developer, not you.
Interesting. One of the main talking points we spoke about today, Anand, is obviously the benefits of the tax side of things with Dubai. Now, do you always think that Dubai is going to be a tax-free jurisdiction?
Not at all. Taxes will come. And I don't know if I can speak on behalf of Dubai, but I'll tell you this, I welcome it. And let me explain why. You cannot come to a city that is aiming to be number one on the planet. You cannot come here, bring your families, live the best quality of life, and we do have one of the best qualities on the planet. Enjoy an excellent career or set up your companies, make all your millions and billions, and leave it up to Sheikh Mohammed and his government to absorb all the costs and build the infrastructure to keep the city number one. Every single one of us has to contribute to this city that is actually giving us the opportunity to have the best life ever. To become the best city in the world, we need the best infrastructure. If our infrastructure does not compare with the better cities, we have no chance of being number one. And when the world is coming here now, there is a pressure on a city, just like London had the pressure in the past, Singapore had it, New York had it, Tokyo and Mumbai had it, and a few other cities. So they needed to invest heavily because of the future of those cities. So sometimes there is the future readiness that you need to create today, but the current GDPs and economies and people are not actually creating that kind of revenue for you to be ready for the future. So taxation is one way all governments look to get money in so they can make sure we have the best cities and the best lifestyles and infrastructure going forward. You need support systems, you need healthcare, you need safety, you need emergency responses, you need highways, you need schooling systems. We need all of that. So if you look again at the top 100, actually look at the top 2,000 cities in the world, they all have tax. So why is it okay for them to have tax, and many of them with taxes that literally take away 40% of your income? Why is it okay for them to have a tax, but we don't have a tax? So people need to understand at some point, because of who we are aiming to become, they will need to be contributors to this city as well, and we support that.
Okay, any idea on the timescale for that?
No idea about that. I don't like to speculate. People have been talking a lot. Speculation, the problem with speculation is that there is more smoke than fire.
Sure.
Yeah, so, but I can clearly tell you, confidently tell you, it will come. At one point, there was no tax. Then the rumors of VAT came up and it showed up. Then corporate tax was being talked about and it has showed up. It's still at 9%. Much, much, much lower than any of the other advanced cities in the world. So even when we come in with taxation structures, it's very friendly. Look at Monaco. It's a tax haven for all of Europe. The same structure that is used in Monaco is what is being used in Dubai. We have an agreement signed with the government of Monaco. So we are essentially looking at becoming the Monaco of the Middle East, so that the people will come to the most tax-friendly structure here. I think it's two things to look at here. It's not just the tax-friendly structure. For the taxes that you're paying, look at the benefits and the lifestyle that you're being offered alongside that. You have to put both together.
Okay. In terms of Dubai, what would you say is the best areas of investment for the next 2 to 5 years?
Okay, if you're looking at 2 to 5 years, I think right now the areas that are getting a lot of interest is the Dubai South area, the Palm Jebel Ali for the ultra high-end lifestyles. Dubai Island is doing extremely well. Any waterfront location would definitely do well. I won't speak about specific developers. I prefer to go communities because I don't want to promote a particular developer. But Dubai land in general has got lots happening in that area with lots of master communities. That's why the Dubai South area, the Dubai land area, the Dubai Islands, which is a new lifestyle combination coming up there, the Palm Jebel Ali, all of these areas are very, very attractive areas to consider. Obviously, again, we have to ask you, what is your investment entry point? Based on that, some other areas might become attractive, not necessarily these.
Okay. Interesting. I think we spoke quite briefly about Dubai South. Can you give me a bit more insight as to why we think that's a good area of investment?
Okay. Dubai South actually is being classified as a city by itself, because we're going to have about 500,000 people in them by in the next 3 years, we'll have about 500,000 people living there. It is going to become the world's biggest logistics corridor. We have 5 cities coming up in that area. We're also building the biggest airport in the world right there. Emirates Airlines is shifting operation. Every airline is going. The airports that we have today are shutting down in the next 10 years, and everything is moving into the Dubai South area. Opposite Sheikh Zayed Road, which is the main artery for us, is gate number 5 to Jebel Ali, the 4th largest port in the world. That's the biggest logistics corridor. The Yiwu Chinese markets, the Chinese president has put in $3.5 billion in the biggest wholesale market in this region. 20 million square foot area with 60 million built up. 3.5 billion. If I had to put that number in perspective, the cost of construction of Burj Khalifa, the tallest tower in the world, is $1.5 billion. The new tallest tower, the Creek Tower, which now is being changed in design, it will not be the tallest, but in the original design, it was $1 billion. So you take the tallest tower in the world, you add the new tallest tower, and you add a third tallest tower. That much money has been put by the Chinese president, the president of the fastest growing economy in the world for the last 23 years, bar the last 3 years post-COVID. That man is telling us you should be in Dubai. And this is only the first of many investments coming up. 168 square kilometers of production and economic activity zones is coming up in that area. We never had production in Dubai before, but we now have 168 square kilometers being developed as a massive production zone. The fastest or the first person to respond to that was the wholesale traders market coming up by the Chinese president. And you're going to see a lot of that coming up in the future. So that is the reason why Dubai South, and it is strategically located halfway between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So both these most prominent Emirates are going to benefit from it. And you've got an airport that defies anybody's expectations in terms of size. You don't build airports just for size. You don't build them just for conveniences. You build them to service your city for the future. You build it for the people who are planning to come.
Interesting. So if you were given investment advice within the Dubai real estate market, would you advise on apartments or townhouses or villas?
Look, both of them work. Again, why? A city is built up of different levels of people in terms of lifestyle. If you look at the launches, I would go with the economic agenda once again and with the vision of the master developers who are shaping the infrastructure and opportunities for people to come in. They're doing it based on the projections, right? When you have 250,000 people coming every year, all of them are not the millionaires and the billionaires. You have people coming genuinely looking for good jobs, good opportunities. They will have families here or they'll bring families. So many people are looking at apartments, townhouses, and villas. This year, we've had about 93% of the new launches were apartments. Because bulk of that 250,000 people every year, I would say a cool 80 to 85% of them would be in this category. We've had only about 7% that is between townhouses and villas, villas being the least, which is why if you're looking at a premium in terms of return, it's the villas and the townhouses that is going to give it to you a lot more. And the numbers are clear in this year. Villas have been appreciating around 2% more than the apartments. Everything is attractive. 17.94% is the appreciation this year compared to last year, but villas are slightly higher. But that also means that your entry point on pricing will be higher because there's a huge demand and an extreme shortage in those areas. So it's really your budgets, your entry point, what's the reason you plan to be in it. If the villa communities are going to be coming up in areas which are going to have long-term attraction, because there's just so much development still to happen in that area. But if you're a short-term investor looking to exit in 3 to 4 years, then even if you have the money, that may not be the best one for you. It might still be apartments for you because you're looking mainly at the returns on your money. It's based on all those factors. Sure. But you will see a lot of villas coming up in the future because we have extreme shortage.
Okay. Yeah. I think a massive talking point over the last few years is the launch of the Wynn Casino coming in Ras Al Khaimah. I believe it's in 2027.
27, yeah.
What do you think that impact will have in the Middle East moving forward?
I think it's very positive going forward. If you look at the Middle East, Dubai opened up to the world 25 years ago. Okay, our neighbors took a little longer to realize that it is a winning model. Without having to compromise and sacrifice on your identity, your religious beliefs, there are ways of actually competing with the best cities in the world. Dubai got into the game very early and it was an instant success. So all the other cities can actually have a reference point to see that this model works. So it tends to be a bit revolutionary because when you start introducing things that were never part of this region, you can have a mixed bag of reactions. We understand that, and I'm sure the leaders of our cities and countries do take that into consideration when they bring these things in. So we see more and more of these casinos, commercial gaming opportunities coming up in a lot of other cities. Dubai is definitely going to have it. Abu Dhabi is also going to have it. It's a boost to the economy and the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. That is the reason why it has gone in there first. What's happening now, as we can see, prices have jumped 60 to 70% in Ras Al Khaimah in just 3 years. So if anybody still has a question mark on about whether it's going to be a good investment, the numbers are going to give you the clear picture. But if you look at what has happened, the whole economy of Ras Al Khaimah has received a massive boost because it's not just the commercial gaming that's going to become a new industry here. We have the digital assets oasis that got set up. The first digital free zone on the planet got set up there. So you will see digital currencies and assets now becoming a big thing, part of Ras Al Khaimah's future. Being a free zone, all of the UAE can be part of that. You also have seen hospitality on the rise. Some of the best hotel chains in the world are now eyeing that part. They never paid attention to that emirate, though it had an amazing waterfront lifestyle. But they're all there now. We've also seen tourism getting a big boost in that area. Retail has started to go up. So there's a lot of multiple industries, and real estate, of course, being another one. So a lot of multidiscipline industries are coming up there, which is boosting the economy of Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah is also offering lifetime visas now for people who are setting up their companies there. So it's great. And once it actually opens up, the visibility will become very high. I think the relationship between Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah will become very similar to that of Hong Kong and Macau. So people do live in Hong Kong and then they hydrofoil it or helicopter it in. They enjoy a couple of days in Macau, but they're not going to stay there for that long. They'll come back and the Hong Kong economy also benefits from these people. Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah is going to become a bit like that going forward. But yes, positive trend, more of it coming for sure.
Excellent. If I'm a foreign direct investor, how would I manage to secure any residency within the UAE?
Today, we understand that if you're investing in Dubai, you need to be allowed to stay in this country, right? Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've offered the 10-year golden visas, which is renewable every 10 years. It's for you and your family. You can bring domestic help in as well because you have the 10-year visas for your parents as well. And the entry point is just 2 million. And you don't even have to complete the 2 million. Once you have made the initial payment, the down payments, you've got your sales purchase agreements done, you've registered your units with the land department, you can actually apply for the visa. So you've got a 10-year visa opportunity, which is renewable every 10 years. So yes, you can come and live here. You just probably every 6 months have to make a quick trip into Dubai, say hello to everybody, and then you can go back. So yes, we have actually got that in place because I think that was a natural thing to happen. How do you expect people to invest in homes here, but they wouldn't have a visa? They might be financially secure enough to want to live the rest of their life or have a great lifestyle here. But if I don't have a visa, there is no way I can live here. So today the government has actually taken away that hurdle also.
Okay, perfect. And as an investor based from the UK, I hear a lot of speculation in the news about the Middle East. Of course, we're all aware of the wars and the issues which are going on politically and globally. What impact do you think that will have in Dubai?
Okay, let's look at the numbers for the last 2 years. 2 record years. So while it is happening, people are speculating about this might be a problem. It's not stopping people from putting their money. 196 of the Fortune 500 companies now have their regional head offices in Dubai. These are the best 500 companies in the world. They do all their due diligence. They look at the geopolitical situations. They also look at human rights. They look at the weather, how hostile is the weather for people to have a good lifestyle. They look at safety. They look at culture. They look at religious tolerance. They look at business environments, tax-friendly policies, currency accesses, workforces, technology, education, because they're bringing their best executives and families to this part of the world. And 40% of these companies have now chosen Dubai. They are also aware of maybe a few countries close by which are quite sensitive on the global scene, but it's not stopping anyone from coming in here. So that's what I would like to talk about. When the war started last year, let's talk about that. When 2 years ago, when in 2022, when Russia walked into their neighbor's yard, people believed it would stop. We jumped and had a record year. 18% of that was coming from Russia and the surrounding countries. We still had 82% coming from 176 nationalities. So no one slowed down in Dubai. When Israel walked into Gaza, again, everybody said this is going to affect us because it's closer to home. Iran is getting into it. Syria is getting into it. Lebanon is in it right now. Egypt is, flaring up. And so everyone talked about that. But in the midst of all of that, there's a lot of speculation. And I always tell people, don't speculate. Why? Even the best governments in the world, the people with all the red phones who can talk to leaders who have access to all intelligence technology, don't have an answer. So if those people don't have an answer, you're not going to have it, I'm not going to have it, the investor's not going to have it. So we can end up doing a lot of speculation. And the challenge could be many investors are emotionally invested in Gaza. They could be religiously invested as well. So you don't want to get into those conversations because you don't know the degree of emotional engagement. So what can happen is clients can move into that kind of space and it becomes very hard for you to bring them back to a business conversation. So what I do tell people is that it's a very sad situation in Gaza, and we all want it to end as soon as possible. What I can tell you with confidence is when you look at the actual numbers being clocked on the ground, it isn't slowing down. It isn't even slowing down. It's speeding up the number of people securing their opportunities in Dubai. Last year was a record year with Gaza. This year is going to break last year's record, and Gaza is still going on. This is what I would give as a reply to investors.
Okay, perfect. And just finally, what impact do you think technology, AI, will have on the Dubai real estate market?
Oh, it's coming in a big, big way. See, AI is the next level in technology. I don't think it is so much about AI. Obviously, is going to make people's lives easy. There's a lot of people who have got fears around AI and how it is going to impact humans and their future. I don't believe it is about AI. It's about how the technology gets used. Any kind of technology, atomic technology, nuclear technology, when they came in, they can be blessings, but they can also be curses to us. AI can be the same. So I think the power of AI is in the hands of the leaders and the visionaries who plan to use it. Obviously, when you look at real estate, it will streamline transactions, staging that you're doing. People who are buying from around the world can have more real time and more real experiences of the luxury, the lifestyle, the opportunities, the communities, the predictability, the data that will start coming out, the self-reliance on being able to do bookings and study markets, AI being able to suggest the most effective opportunities for you. I think there's a lot of positives going forward. In fact, one of the senior land department officials recently, Dr. Mahmoud Al-Burai, was talking about how many officials in the government in real estate are looking at ChatGPT and similar type of apps to be able to identify. So you would be able to identify your ideal home, ideal locations by putting in the right kind of briefs. So instead of having to run through thousands and thousands of options and listening to a lot of brokers who may not really be the right kind of people, AI is going to do it for you without being influenced by anyone. AI can even predict the future of some of these areas. Realist uses a lot of AI to come up with data, which tends to be a lot more accurate than many of the offline companies doing hard research, who are very, very good. But we've found that the companies who are using technology are coming up with more accurate numbers, and they are able to present the data in 100 different forms just as a switch like that. So AI is good for us.
Excellent. How are we for time?
11.
11, yeah. So should I do the close?
You can just do one last question if you want. They're opening the door, so I guess you'd...
So just want to summarise the podcast by thanking Anand once again for coming on today. If anyone has any questions for Anand or I, then please leave a comment below. Please make sure to follow both of our pages and drop a like, and keep an eye for what's coming next. Thank you.
Thank you, Callum.